Welcome to Up Next, our regular Rovers Roundtable, reflecting on another big home win here at the Millennium Stadium this past weekend against Whitehaven, and looking ahead to the next home game against Newcastle Thunder in the Rovers Northern Soul round. More on that in a moment as well. We're in the company of the head coach, Sean Long, who's here, looking very refreshed. You've been away?
No, I've not had time. Been too busy working.
And Martin Vickers here as well, the chief exec, who's going to bring us up to speed on events off the pitch. Let's start with on the pitch. How's your week been so far? It was a massive win at the weekend.
Yeah, it was a good win. There's still some things we need to work on. We're still not happy as players. We've got the leadership group in just now, speaking about things we can improve on week by week. Still some things we can tidy up on. But on the whole, we played well for 70 minutes and had a 10-minute blip where we felt they got a bit of a roll on, but then we snapped back into it, how we play, and which was good to see.
And you were able to shuffle the pack a little bit for the first time this season, make a few changes. We've just seen John O'Ford in as part of your leadership group now. He got a rest at the weekend. A few fans asking why Chris Hankinson wasn't playing. He's picked up a bit of an injury and he's going to be out for a bit. Yeah,
so Hank's picked up a bit of a back injury, so he'll be out for a few weeks, but we've got cover there in the outside backs with Josh and Harley and Joey coming back, so fingers crossed we won't miss him too much, but he's a very, very good player, so hopefully get him back as soon as possible.
More reaction to that, and we'll look ahead to the next game in just a moment. Martin, a perfect start to the season on the pitch. What, with Sean and the players doing everything that you would want of them, played through 1-3. What about off it? How would you assess the start of the season off the field so far?
Yeah, well, obviously ever since Sean's arrival, there's been a massive buzz around the club, and all the numbers are really strong. I think our fans are second to none. As I've said on many occasions, but this is where we need them more than ever. We obviously we've got this run of home games, and we've got all kinds of challenges out in the world at this moment about what the economics are of the country and everything else. But I just call on the Featherstone fans to really get back in this great start, because the two things go hand in hand. Sean was working hard as ever just to deliver quality on the pitch, but we need to keep that momentum off the pitch as well. And as there's no respite for the players in the team, same with the fans. You keep backing us. Let's get back to this week to that Halifax level of a crowd, so we can build on the momentum and keep it going. But yeah, everything positive. New sponsors on the way. Lots of events planned. The game themes, as you saw on Sunday, worked really well with past players. So lots of momentum. We've got to build on as well as Sean in what he's been doing in a really good way for the club.
Yeah, it fascinates me when we talk about success, the difference in terms of what your role is and what Sean does. Sean comes into work here every week. He knows, right, a successful week is building towards the match and winning the match, right? That's black and white. When you roll in, how do you set about, how do I make this week a successful week?
Well, ultimately, I suppose that drive is about money. It's we're not a club like Lee Centurions last year who can just pump £1 million quid in over and above what they get. We have to work hard for every penny. So success may be, to me, a new partnership, a successful sold-out event like we had with the Skinny Living event. It can be selling 5 or 6 advertising boards, because these are things that ultimately bring the money ticking around, and we've done some great stuff on social media over the last few weeks. Why is that so important to the club? Because a business sponsor is interested when they see that, because as we've just today, we're going to be announcing a new sponsorship with EV Heroes. They're a national company. They put in electricity kind of power charging systems in for vehicles, and they've been attracted to Featherstone Rovers, and they've done that because when we're getting 5 million people every month engaging with us digitally, that is an attraction out there. So it can be all sorts. Ultimately, the success is the win on the pitch for me as well, because the more and more that snowball keeps rolling, the easier my life becomes, So yeah, let's carry on the good work. Ultimately, we're a rugby club, and what we do on the field dictates how well or poorly this club does, but the more success we have, the better it is all round.
That's the point, isn't it, Sean? I was going to ask you how aware you are as head coaches of all this kind of stuff. You know, you're a guy, very hands-on coach, you just involved rugby, and you're still learning as a head coach, I'm sure, but you've got to be aware of all this kind of stuff, because Martin can't really do his job as a businessman if you're not giving him a successful product. And at the moment you are doing that.
Yeah, when I first arrived, we had a chat with Mark and Martin regarding how we wanted to play. You know, we wanted to touch base on our DNA as a town, and it's work ethic and hard work, and that's what Martin just touched on. We all work hard, and you know, we've got a great community who love rugby league and want to come down and watch the game, and we want them to be part of the journey, what we're going on this year. We feel that we've got a good strong squad to be challenging at the end of the year, and we want them to be down every week at home watching a good brand of rugby, and being part of the journey for us to get back into Super League. And you know, they'll probably remember it for years to come if that happens. And like I say, you know, in the Halifax game, we needed them so much because they're a good team, Halifax, and they threw a lot at us. And we deterred them from scoring a try when they had 18 tackles on our try line. The fans were behind us, and you know, it was brilliant. And then we went down the other end of the field and scored. So it just shows how much the fans and the lads need each other. You know what I mean? It was great. So more of the same, please, and we'll do our job. And like I say, you know, we want them to witness what's going to happen this year.
We were sitting in this room, Martin. Was it started last week, the week before, I lose track, with the first Featherstone Rovers business breakfast event of the season, and it really struck me, having been involved in similar events last season, the feel-good factor in the room, new partners, new partnerships, as you've already mentioned, but also the fact that there was a feeling there with, like, we're onto a winner here. We bought a winning ticket because, you know, the bookmakers have made Featherstone favourites for a promotion. Now I'm sure Longy probably doesn't want that, but in terms of what you're doing and getting partnerships involved, that's exactly what you want, because you want to be saying to people, you've come here and you've backed the right horse.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, everything that we do at this club, we have to meticulously plan it, you know, because, like, actually, as Sean said when he first came here, we already had a good set of professionals in the team, but you know, we've crafted together, led by Sean actually, we've crafted, you know, a team of a very, very strong team of players. When you think about what's been put together, you know, a New Zealand World Cup player in Elijah, we have a star of PNG's team with Mackenzie, we've got two French boys who'll be probably lining up against England later this year. We've got several others, Fordy, Kyle, Caleb, all just come out of a World Cup, as well as the great talent we already had locally. So those things take a lot of hard work, and we've built that platform. And I have to say, you know, the way Sean has engaged with not just the community but our business customers helps me do my job, you know, and so it's we're putting on a spectacle on the field. I'm sure we'll do that again this week, you know, when we play Newcastle. And all I ask, look, our fans, as I've already said, are fantastic how they support us. You know, I will hear things, people prefer Saturdays to Sundays and Sundays to Saturdays, and people don't like fairgrounds being on the car park at the moment, but actually it's about backing us, because that brings money to the club, and that's what we have to be relentless. And you know, Mark Campbell sets the tone for that in the club. You know, I've always maintained, since I've been here, I've never beat him in on a morning, and I've never left before he's left. And his work ethic epitomises everything Sean is doing at the moment, I'm doing at the moment. And 350 grand this year will come in from commercial sponsorship. Now, actually, there's some Super League teams that aren't touching anywhere near that. And when you think about it as a fan, how do we try to strike the right balance? Well, we've not put the ticket entry prices up for years. We don't charge for kids. Our season ticket prices this year went down, you know, so actually we know how hard it can be out there, and I don't think there's better value for money than what you can see out there at this moment in time.
Here's a question then, for same question for you both. I'm sure we'll have quite a different answer, but we're only 3 weeks into the season. I'm interested in, obviously on the face of it, it's going brilliantly on and off the pitch, but behind success is always challenge. So what's the biggest challenge been, or what have the biggest challenges been so far for you in this job? And I'll come to you on the business side of that Martin in a moment, but as head coach of Featherstone Rovers, favourites with the tournament bookmakers, the sponsors Betfred, to go up this season, what have been the biggest challenges for you, Longy, in the first month or so?
Picking the team.
Yeah.
That's one, because they've all
that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
who do I leave out rather than who do I put in?
Exactly. So they've all tipped in training in pre-season. They've all had a great pre-season. And for me to go out to a lad and said, well, you're not playing this week, he's playing. And I have tried to rotate a little bit with the pack so they feel fresh each week. And I said I'd do that. But that's been one of the challenges. Telling a lad he's not playing this week, because you've had a good pre-season, you want to ultimately play at weekend and showcase what you've got. That's been a challenge. I think the next challenge is not for us to get comfortable. We've played, some good teams. We played Keighley, who come right in the blocks line. We played Halifax, who are a very, very good attacking team. And then it's keeping those standards up. Whether we're playing Whitehaven, no disrespect, or we're playing Halifax, or playing Toulouse, it's got to be the same standards each week, and we're all accountable. And so I've been driving that we don't get comfortable. I'm just speaking with the leadership group there, and they're on board with it, and they don't want to fall in any bad habits going into the next game, and then all of a sudden, boom, we get pipped. And I've been seeing it coming a while, so every week I'm trying to just keep them on the toes.
What about you? Yeah. Behind closed doors, what are the biggest obstacles, biggest challenges, biggest things that you've got to get stuck into, Martin, so far this year?
Yeah, I think the biggest threat to us all is about complacency, and I'm not talking about, Sean's just been referring to that in a playing performance kind of way. I think complacency doesn't want to creep in off the field too. And we work really hard to go the extra mile for our customers, whether it's the fans. My first year here, in terms of themed events, was a little bit good in parts. This year, as everybody saw with the past players stuff, I thought it was fantastic. The feedback I got from the past players themselves was great. I heard of fans getting their shirts all signed by people from the past.
They were great fun on this Up Next last week as well.
Yeah, and apparently we've had to make several apologies to certain governing bodies and things like that. But the match themes is about not being complacent about our fans and making sure they do get value. I think the biggest win we have with our sponsors is, and the reason people like PFI Mechanical and ZS Service have kept coming back, is because we do look after them. And the day we stop looking after them, it'll be my area of complacency that I don't want to drift into, because the reason we've done so well and we've got this kind of ball of kind of rolling along with us at this moment in time is because we treat them with respect, and we do really do some positive stuff for the businesses. So complacency can happen on both areas, and I'm sure, whether it's I think the relationships we've all got, Mark, Sean, myself, Stephen Clough, will be pretty open and transparent if one of us is taking our eye off the ball, which I'm not seeing at the moment. And in terms of playing performance, we've had 3 games. Only one of those teams may ultimately be in the playoff kind of challenge. So it's very early days. Let's judge ourselves when we're halfway through the season, when we've had the Toulouse game out of the way, and see where we're at.
That question or that point on relationships was actually going to be my next question about the dynamic between you two, because the time I spent around the club doing this kind of work last year, you and Brian McDermott just argued all the time. Be it about football, boxing, promotion, relegation, part-time, full-time. It was quite entertaining. but you know there was a lot of bickering. You took alternate viewpoints a lot. What's the early dynamic between Martin Vickers and Sean Long? I'll come to you, Longy, in a moment on that.
Well, I think probably Brian McDermott would be the first to say that describes most relationships he has
with anybody.
Yeah, I feel, look, he's just sat to the right of me, but like I think the thing that helps me do my job a lot is Sean's open, engaging style. I have worked with Sean before, and I always knew what you see is what you get with him. You know, he's a very honest individual. He does epitomise the hard work element, and I think we all respect that in each other. You know, and I have to say, when Sean's probably got through to the end of a game and he's just winding down, and then Sean, can you do this? Can you do that? You know, it's been really great. You know, he had a 16th birthday in here the other day where he brought a young fan in to do things, and actually that helps me do my job so much, you know. So I think, as from Mark down, hard work, honesty and openness. If you have a fallout, just move on, you know, move on to the next day. That's how it is, and that seems to be working well.
Yeah, you not had a fallout yet, have you?
No fallouts at all. As soon as I came in pre-season, when I was involved with the World Cup with France, I came in and met Martin and Mark, and you know, we had this end game of where we want to be at the end of the season, and you know, was all on board. Martin and Mark helped me tremendously really, you know, trying to put a team together, which Martin's already touched on. We had a really strong team, but we wanted to add to it, and they helped me all the way. So no, you know, like I said, I'm honest with Martin and Mark. Just tell them how it is, and I said to him, if I need any help, can I lean on you, and vice versa. You know, at some point I'm going to have to lean on you. And he was like, yeah, no worries. So yeah, all good for me. I'm really enjoying my role. Forget beat then for Newcastle Thunder, but what we're doing all right.
Yeah, the relationships are easy when everything's going swimmingly, right, in any walk of life. Let's spend the last couple of minutes talking about the next home game. We're back here on Sunday against Newcastle, and then we've got a big night Monday as well, when we're hosting the Challenge Cup draw as well. In fact, should we mention that first, then we can talk about the game on Sunday?
Yeah, look, we're pleased that the RFL's worked with us on that, and it's a big year for us this year because it's the celebration, the anniversaries of just the 73 final and the 83 final, so it's a big year for the club. It's nice that the RFL have respected that, and we're going to have some past players along to make the draw, and it's all open to our fans to come along as well. So it's not very often that we get that opportunity, and I think it's nice. We're proud to be kind of hosting that. So, you know, I just urge all our fans to just...
That's Monday. That's Monday evening.
Monday from 5 o'clock. I think the draw is probably like 6 o'clock, something like that. But if fans could get here from 5, and there were plenty of people from the club around, you know, for us to meet and greet. So yeah, in terms of the match on Sunday, look, it wasn't that long ago that people were touting Newcastle for Super League success, you know, and I know they've had a difficult year last year. But, you know, let's hope the only Newcastle team that's winning on Sunday is Newcastle United. And all I would say is just get down here. We're going to have another good day. We're going to be doing some Northern Soul, so apparently I'm dancing with Percy on the dance floor afterwards, after the game. But please, you're supposed to be giving people reasons to come down, not stay away, Martin. No, I think they'll enjoy that. And I believe we've got Percy even some flares, special flares for the occasion. Right. So look, it's going to be fun. We're working hard. We won't always get it right in terms of the themes, but women in league, we've got some of the armed forces, we've got all kinds of stuff kind of piled up to kind of move forward with. We're open to any ideas from you fans out there, but the best thing you can do is participate, you know, because after this game, a real big TV game against Bradford, you know, I know our fans like to play Bradford, don't they? And you know, we need you out in force for those next 2 big games. showcase on Sunday and a big showcase for the TV game against Bradford, as our fans always do.
And you'll be wanting to roll into the Bradford game off the back of an unbeaten start to the season. You want to make it 4 wins out of 4. What about Chris Thorman coming here with Newcastle? Very experienced as a player and as a coach. You know, he earning his credentials at Workington and now moving across to Newcastle. I'm sure you'll be on your guard against what he will come here with.
Yeah, they look like a well-drilled team. Got some big forwards in the middle, and they've got some decent halves. They've just got a half from Keithley as well, so that'll give them a bit more cohesion in the spine, and some decent outside backs. So we're not taking them for granted. You know, they're a hard-working team. I think they've come unstuck a couple of times on some results where I think they've had the better of Keithley at one point. So we're not taking them for granted. I think they're, like I said, well coached, well drilled, and it'll be a tough match for us on Sunday.
And it'll be good to get a good crowd in for this one.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, we need a good crowd in this week, just for us to get behind us, and also, you know, like I say, I spoke about going on the journey what we're on. Like I said, we're trying to play a good brand of rugby and put some hard work in, and hopefully you'll see that on Sunday. So it'll be great if you can come down and watch us play Newcastle.
Final word on that from you, Martin, for anyone around here watching this thinking, actually my diary's pretty clear Sunday, why should you be coming down here?
Well, everybody who comes to our ground enjoys the experience. You know, there's a bit of fun. You get entertained on the pitch, and you probably get entertained off the pitch as well. You know, it's just a really good event. And look, when you think, you know, you're paying as an adult 20 quid to get in. You know, we're not like some of our neighbours who put prices up on the day. We're as honest as we're talking about here. It's 20 quid. It's 15 quid for a concession. Now, I don't think you can get better value for your money than that. And look, our fans know that, because our season memberships are higher than ever. You know, we've got massive numbers of kind of child memberships as well. It's those floating fans that I appeal to, you know, because it's only our that Sunday was only our kind of second home game.
Yeah.
We're 3 games in home terms into our season. We're in a great place, and you know, please support us this Sunday, because you know, when I talk to players, new players to the club like Mackenzie and Caleb, the thing they've liked about this is what that noise has been like when they've been out there, what that kind of community spirit is as they're coming off the pitch and everything else. So actually it means so much to those guys if you can turn up in numbers, and I'm sure you will.
Martin, great to see you today. Thank you. Sean, always a pleasure. Tan is looking amazing, by the way, if you don't mind me saying. Absolutely fantastic.
I'm saying nothing.
We'll be back with Up Next very soon. We hope to see you Sunday. Really looking forward to this 1 hour Northern Soul fixture, so plenty to look forward to, but especially on the field, where unbeaten Featherstone go toe-to-toe with Newcastle Thunder. Tickets available down at the club shop, just down there, or online. We hope to see you Sunday, and we'll see you very soon.